Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. I've mentioned from time to time I get some ideas for this podcast from my buddy Jerry Del Coliano. He's somebody who I met many years ago. He was the publisher of Inside Radio and did that for a number of years. And now he is a college professor, and he also publishes a daily think piece, day starter type of thing. And I really love them, and I've printed off a bunch of them and saved them for an appropriate occasion. And I think the holidays are a tough time sometimes for people to deal with. So I thought these are good. These were some good things. Now, Jerry wrote about meaningful friendships. It's not a number, it's the reason why they're considered friends. The share of Americans parting 10 or more close friendships decreased from 1990 to 2024, with the number reporting no friendships increased 1 to 17%. Now, this is according to Gallup, who did this poll. Why am I friends with that person? What joy do we share? What interest? Hey, listen, there are people who, I'm friends with, and I kind of wonder, but the reason is we've shared time. It's somebody you can pick up the phone and start talking to, and it's amazing how that relationship will continue. When I was down in Florida for the golf tournament, my buddy Mark and I called my buddy Ronnie, and we all hadn't talked in a couple of years at least, and we were on the phone for about 2 hours. And all we were doing was talking, and we were laughing, and we were having it like old times. I mean, that's what it's about in terms of friendship. 4 in 10 people have not made a new friend in over a year. Why is that? Well, we're constantly told how social isolation is a bad thing, right? You know that. But this long after the pandemic, it seems harder to find new friendships. And again, part of that also is because of the way we run our lives now. It's run here, run there, and a lot of us have, this closed system to a certain extent. Research conducted for cheap Caribbean vacations to understand their interest in surveying the marketplace. But the time with a friend has no clock on it. In fact, it's more important the number of friends we have as is the time we spend. And that's important. Then last but not least, Jerry had this in June. I've saved it since then. Mr. Lonely. He talked about one of his students who came up to him and said he felt lonely and isolated from others socially because everyone's engaged in their phones and social media. That's something that I've noticed. People think their phones, and they take their phones in the supermarkets and they're making phone calls. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And Jerry made a suggestion. He said, take small steps, break out of your private pattern, and engage others. Specifics. Well, take a front seat in the classroom. Be among the first to raise your hand and volunteer to respond. Talk to someone on the way in or out of the room, and when walking outside, look at someone else and smile at them. Simple, small steps. Listen, I'm not a social butterfly. You would think that given my larger than life personality and my big voice, but I am not that person. But I will say one thing. You do need to smile and engage. And a smile will make someone's day. Hey, how you doing? How you feeling? What's going on? Listen, takes 5-10 seconds as you're walking in, but it may make the difference on that person's day. Now, by the end of the semester, Mr. Lonely said he was feeling more confident and enjoying being among the first to engage others who seemed very appreciative. That's a big thing. Again, it's the holidays, and you don't know what people are going through. The holidays are a rough time, and I can think back to certain holidays that were just really tough, and a couple of them were when, in the last few years when I just, I didn't have a job. I didn't have direction. That was tough. And the holidays just amplify that to a certain extent. The other part of the problem is I wanted to be with my daughter, but unfortunately I couldn't be with her as much as I wanted to because of the fact that, she's got a mom, she's got other family, and she spent time with them. And listen, my ex-wife has been very good, and I get to spend time with Stephanie, and I've also spent shared time with them. So it made the holidays a little more tolerable. But the holidays are just a tough time because people think about who is not there and who they've lost. I know the holiday of 2020 was really tough when I lost my buddy Scott, but you know something? I got through it. And 2021 was awful, also tough because, well, we had just lost Sandy's mom, and that was tough also. But you get through, and you do the best you can, and before you know it, the holiday's over. But listen, try and make the holiday something for someone. Do something and surprise them. Be it a coworker, be it somebody you pass on the street, be it somebody who you don't know. Listen, you pay for the guy, you pay it forward, you pay for the guy behind you in the line at Starbucks. You pay for his drink. Hey, happy holiday. There you go. That's what you do. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It shows you care, and it's an effort. And who knows, maybe you make a friend out of the whole thing. I want to talk about something real quick, and I've mentioned this before. Speaking of friends, the show on Apple TV with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. I recommend it to you wholeheartedly. They have, I think, one episode left on that show this season, but it's already been removed for a fourth season. It is a great show, and it's one of the things they dealt with, Harrison Ford's character, getting a new friend along the way. And that is Tripp's Take for December. It's hard to believe we're already in December 5th, 2024. I would love to hear your comments and questions about my podcast. Please feel free to email trippstake@gmail.com. Fantasy football players, the Hall of Famer Mike Sheck and yours truly, Tripp Rogers, are here to navigate over the Week 14 Buy-Mageddon. We'll give you imports and exports. The Fantasy Sultans podcast is also the same places you can find this podcast on Spotify for podcasters and YouTube. Just search for the Fantasy Sultans. Like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and a little holiday music thrown in there, listen to WTRSradio.com online. I'm Tripp Rogers. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll catch you again next week. Same time, same station. Make it a great one.